We're going to do a little demonstration of the setup on the Racina NRC 20 lidding machine. The vertical Lexan guide plate should be adjusted with about 1/8 of an inch of extra clearance for the lids as they go up to allow them to move freely when they hit the blow off. By removing the motor fan cover, it's easy to put a lid up manually by turning the fan. That way you can check at each point at each of the 6 mounting brackets to make sure you're properly in adjustment. 2 flow controls allow you to set the proper airflow to direct the lids over into the feed chute when they reach that level. The Lexan feed chute cover should be adjusted a little bit further back than the vertical elevator plate. So as the lids are blown across, they don't catch on their way into the feed chute. And the feed rail full sensor should be adjusted so that it can see a clear path through the UHMW when there's not a lid present. At the back of the machine is a means of height adjustment of the overall machine relative to the conveyor. The easiest way to verify this height is to take a jug with a fully installed lid, slide it into the back of the machine, and the lid should line up with the friction disc on the second set of quills. An important step is matching the speed of the grippers themselves to the conveyor. It's going to be adjusted with the speed pod up above marked grippers. Maintaining the same speed will prevent jugs from tipping forward or backward, which will cause feed problems and problems with lidding. The next adjustment is the gripper width adjustment, which can be adjusted with the single gripper width adjustment knob. The gripper should be adjusted narrow enough to grip the jug and pull it through the machine, but not so tight as to crush the jug. With the machine off, it's easy enough to feed the jug through by hand as you're adjusting it in order to get the proper feel. The chute end comes with an adjustment to present the lid at an appropriate height for the jug as it enters. The leading edge of the lid should meet the jug at the lower end of the threaded section. With the lid presented, the jug's going to move into the first set of quills. The intention of the first set of quills is to seat the lid without fully torquing it. In order to verify the first set of quills, you're going to want to pull the pin to disengage the second set of quills from the lead screw. This will allow you to pass jugs through without them being final torqued. You can verify then that the lid is fully seated. With the machine shut off, you're going to want to slide a jug through the chute end to allow it to pick up a lid, and then stop it between the 2 friction discs on the first set of quills. The friction disc retainer has an adjustment as well, and it should be set about 1/8 of an inch higher than the second set of quills. This is because the lid hasn't been screwed down yet, so you're going to contact it where it's presented. Using the individual lead screw adjustments on the front and back, you're going to want to bring each of those friction discs first into contact with the lid, and then about 1/8 of an inch to 3/16 more to allow the spring to engage. Spring tension on the first set of quills can be adjusted on the lighter side. It's not torquing the cap, so just sufficient enough to rotate the cap and seat it. With the machine powered up and running, you should now be able to pass a few jugs through at a time, check them on the other side, and make the necessary adjustments to make sure the cap is seated to the bottom, but not too tight. Once you're happy with the seating of the lids, the second set of quills can be pushed back into position and the pin pushed back down to re-engage the lead screw, and can proceed with adjustments on the second set of quills in order to set the proper torque on the caps. The adjustments for the second set of quills are the same as the first, with the exception of the spring tension. You're going to want spring tension to be about 2 to 3 times as firm as the first set. And the reason for this, we're going to be torquing the caps now. So they're going to require the extra tension to prevent slippage. With the machine under power again, you're going to want to pass a few jugs through to allow them to go through both stations and check the final torque at the end. The last adjustment that you may need to make is the clutch adjustment if you need more or less torque. In order to adjust the clutch, you're going to want to loosen the set screw on the upper half, and then with one hand grab onto the universal, the other hand rotate that upper hub. Clockwise will tension the clutch, counterclockwise will loosen the clutch. Be sure to remember after adjustments to tighten up the set screw again so that your adjustment holds.